Halito everybody, this is CT over at the NYC Indian, and today we're going to be reviewing 90 Day Fiancé, Burns and Betrayals. This is going to be coming to you from an urban Native American perspective, a mixed perspective, and a secular perspective. Let's get started. Before I start the review today, guys, I want to address something that's going on with Alina, and that's a couple of posts that have been unearthed of hers calling black people the N-word several times, allegedly. It looks like it's her account. I can't imagine that it is not. And unless I find out something else different, the situation came about a couple of days ago. Burgundy Blue Commentary was the one to report on this. If you want more detail, please go to her channel at Burgundy Blue Commentary. I'll post the link below. Also, I've just decided that I will continue to do the reviews, but I will not be including Caleb and Alina's story any longer in them. So, like I said, if you want to know more, go over and check out Burgundy Blue Commentary's page. And that's it. Let's get the review started. So we open up with Kim. Oh God, you just gotta love it, right? She's getting all ready, she's prepped and she's scrubbed and she's fresh. She's got on her Sunday best, the yoga pants and the t-shirt, and she is baptizing herself in the name of Usman. And that body wash, honey, you could tell her nothing. And all to get to the video set for a man that's not there, who's gonna be singing a song about his ex, who lives in America, who he lied about. Man, just some of this stuff, it writes itself. I mean, you can't even. So then, oh, look at that. I said Lisa, that was a little slip. Kim, decides, you know what? I gotta let him know that I'm more than a fan, that I got his back. I'm gonna be his woman. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna micromanage the hell out of this team and let all these people know that I am in charge. So because apparently I didn't know that between the Marines and taking care of her mom, that she was also a licensed cosmetologist, because she had a lot of criticisms for the barber. I thought that was just incredible how multi-talented she is, So, they just seemed like they were kind of looking at her like, okay, you don't take this a little bit too seriously here. But Usman seems a little frustrated as well that his crew doesn't have his stuff together. But hey, she's got the cape on. That's what she's there for, to swoop in and to save the day and to prove to this man that there's no other woman like me. I am your woman. So they do the video shoot. It gets all done. And then the crew is now starting to be like, okay, it's been a little bit too many hours of her telling us what to do and stuff like that. And even though Usman is frustrated, Kim is sitting there thinking, that this is her play. This is her time to shine. And how are you acting? It was almost like it was like she was finding stuff to say that was wrong. She was like looking for things. You're supposed to be there in the background, kind of supporting, but she's acting like she's on the crew. Did they cut her a check? She was really literally in it. What a way to show a man who is not into you how much you are willing to just roll over, and what I like to call suspending your critical thinking. Ladies, we cannot be doing this. This woman is too old. She's, I want to say too wise, but I guess that's not the case. But this is not, come on, Kim. Jeez, this is not good. This is not good. So now it's time for Memphis and Hamza to take a little stroll. They're out and about, and they want to have a serious conversation, or at least he does, because it seems like his mother got into his ear about him not being able to trust her fully. So he wants to talk about her past. So they're sitting down, and then she explains to him about what happened with her mom. And mind you, she's doing this with kind of, with a language barrier. They have limited English between the both of them, or he has limited English. So she's trying to explain the best she can about what happened to her mom and her mother's addiction, and how far she's come. She's done better now, and that her father was incarcerated most of her childhood. And it's a really sad story. Memphis really has, basically defeated the odds, right? And, you know, his reaction though, Hamza, it kind of surprised me. He was genuinely, he seemed really hurt. And I think maybe because a story like hers is probably something he doesn't hear about every day. He really seemed, I know some people think like, oh, you know, he's not really that into her or something like that. I think Hamza is into her. I think he does like her. You know, but, you know, he's got a little lying problem. We'll get into that later. But he really showed his compassion, and I really feel like we got a glimpse into that's the person that his mother raised, like that, like kind of like that sweet, kind person. And I think probably just some of his upbringing and stuff like kind of contributes to that kind of soft nature that he has, which I think is, I mean, I think that's a good quality in a person. I still don't think he's ready for marriage, especially not with Memphis and her children. But it did show a lot about him because, you know, I think that made her so nervous to tell him about her background and to feel like she would be judged by that. But he really was, I think in that moment he definitely showed up. That was, I have to give it to Hamza for that one. That was pretty. So, Jasmine and Gino, wow. Well, Jasmine, of course, is still absolutely pissed off about the toothbrush situation, and she tells him that the only way that he could make it up to her is that he has to take her on a vacation. A $2,500 vacation for a man that's been laid off for several months and doesn't even want to spend money on clothes. So he refuses, of course, but then eventually she convinces him. He gives in, he caves, of course. And then she says to him that in addition to that, he needs to have a bonfire for all the trinkets that his ex-wife gave him. Okay, a bonfire? Like, are you serious? If it's like a salt and pepper shaker in a mug, okay, just throw it away. A bonfire? The red flags are endless with this woman. I mean, it's beyond, I mean, she's really starting to, you know, graduate to a category 6 or something like that. This man, Gino, you are definitely in over your head. You need to get out quick. So now she's upset because she's thinking about the ex-wife and she's thinking about all these color schematics from how she decorated, I don't know, was it his kitchen or something like that? So then he tells her to back off and she gets completely hysterical. And she goes, "You always make me look crazy. You make me look like I'm the crazy person." And it's like, you are. You're absolutely nuts. If you are willing to go through this much over some decoration colors, are you serious? Imagine having a child with this woman and God forbid the school nurse calls and says, "Hey, you know, you got to pick up your kid today because, you know, he has a rash on his face or something like that." She would accuse him of, like, you know, having a thing for the school nurse. I mean, this is so insane. You can have, if you want, I mean, this is like, you can have that kind of like drama and like total, you know, Jerry Springer-esque type stuff, like right in Michigan. Why do you need to go to Central America for that? I am not understanding it. You know, listen, it must be good. That's all I can say. It must be good. So now from our lovely state that keeps on giving us more and more castmates, Michigan, we have our lovely Ben, who is 52 years old. He's a fitness model, and he is enamored with I'll say a woman, but you know, we don't even know if this is a real live human being or not, named Mahogany, 24 years old, from Peru. The pictures of her look really amazing. They kind of look like something from, like, I don't know, like a Korean fashion catalog or something. They do not seem real, okay? So he grew up in a cult, you know, just a regular, you know, kind of guy. Grew up in a cult, you know, nothing to see here. Had his kids, got married, had his kids within that, and became a pastor within that cult, and finally got out, divorced his wife. So now he wants to introduce, or at least the idea that he has met this woman to his friends. So they all meet up, and they seem like they got decent brains on their shoulders, and they're just like, oh my God. When he starts telling them, they're like listening to the details more and more, like, wait, you've only heard her voice twice, and you guys haven't video chatted, like you're not video chatting with her. How do you know this isn't a catfish? He's like, oh no, she listens to the word of the Lord, and I talk about God, and she yada, 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 yada. So, I mean, do you guys think this woman is real? I mean, I don't know if they would start a thing. Well, I guess they did before, because I was going to say that they had someone before where it wasn't real, what was that guy's name? I can't remember. The one guy, he was dancing in the mirror. He went to Mexico to see her. She was from Russia, and he was just like, oh man, I can't remember his name, but he was on a previous season, and he was totally played by this woman. But at least we got to hear her voice telling him what a dummy he was. Oh my God, that was so crazy. But yeah, so we have to see a little bit more with this situation. Right now, it's looking like it's not real. I mean, that straight up looks like something. That picture looks like I'm telling you, it looks like from a Korean fashion, like a fashion website or something, where you buy like cute clothes and stuff like that. That does not look real. I mean, it could be, but we still got to see on that one. But my God, what is he thinking, at least with the age difference? Why is it that you need to not only get someone from a country that you do not speak the language of, you want to get someone who is so much younger than you? Like, do you ever think about, do these people want to have children? And like, do you just, you're basically going to leave that person a widow at that, or a widower at some point? Like, what goes through people's minds? And Michigan, what is going on up there? I gotta call my people up there. I am. This is getting very disturbing each and every episode. So Ximena and Mike. Mike is still convinced that there is some way that Ximena can still have kids. He is not getting that this procedure was permanent. And maybe he's just like in denial or something, and he really wants an explanation as to why she didn't tell him. And she's like, look, I had a lot of rough stuff in my past and relationships and things like that. And, I didn't think that I would be in a place again where I would want to have children. And he's like, but why didn't you tell me that? Knowing I was planning all these things, and I'm telling you, oh, one day when we have kids and this and this and that, and you're just going along with it, and you're not like saying, hey, listen, actually, this is what happened. And, she felt really bad about it, but I think she just, she made some, some poor decisions being around the wrong people at an early age. And that's a cautionary tale with Ximena as well. How certain things that we do when we're younger can wind up following us for the rest of our lives, unfortunately. I mean, we all got something we could pull up and be like, oh my God. But, in her case, it actually, affected, her safety and stuff like that. And he's just like, thinking like, man, I don't know, I came all the way down. He had a whole dream in his mind of what this woman could be, but if he had used a little bit more common sense before, I think he could have maybe avoided this situation. Though I feel like Ximena is still much more genuine than a lot of the other people, or some other people that have been on this show. It's, to me, I mean, Mike is a come up, basically. I don't think she's really into him like that, but she is into the idea of having a better life enough that she's willing to overlook the fact that he's probably not her type, okay? And that he's just so sweet and so kind and so calm and giving and generous, unlike the men that she's been with in the past, that she's willing to kind of bite the bullet. And, I think he's starting to kind of maybe get that a little bit, but not enough. So she decides, she wants to take him to the mountains. So they go to this little retreat, in the rainforest. Absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. I can't imagine if he's like a small town guy from upstate New York. I'm sure like this must be seem like some kind of paradise or something to him. I don't know how much he's traveled before, but it just looks so beautiful, and they look like they're finally gonna have like, you know, some intimacy, be close with one another and stuff. And then next thing you know, she has to, you know, talk to him, and it's like, uh-oh, what is it gonna be next? So then she says to him that, well, he asks about her past, you know, if there are any other things that she needs to talk about or whatever. And she reveals that she was living with a hitman, and that when she tried to leave him, he basically said, okay, I'm gonna put a hit on you, or I'm gonna kill you, not put a hit on you, or I'm gonna kill you. Like he threatened her life. And I just thought, I mean, all, you know, we like to, you know, yak it up, kiki on this show. This is, you know, it's very funny and stuff like that. But honey, let me tell you, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like, my heart really went out for her at that point, because I thought, I mean, I don't know, like if she had her children yet or not. Oh no, I guess she did, because that was only 2 years ago. That's right. This is only 2 years ago. So imagine having to fear for your life, and you know, I think sometimes, you know, my age, I'm in my 40s, and we used to hear about a lot of that, you know, narcos and trafficking and stuff like that that used to happen in both Central and South America. I remember hearing about that more like in the 80s when I was a kid. So I didn't really connect now today that so much of that still goes on. I mean, but you know, it is, I mean, it's Colombia. It's a real thing. That's a real thing. And I think, again, bottom line, she wants to get out of that country so she can have a better life and some safety. Now, like I said before, I believe that people can have arrangements. Now, if he's on board with like, you know what, listen, I know the deal. You love me, you take care of me, you be my wife, I'll take care of you, I'll get you out of this place, I'll take care of your kids. And if that's the arrangement, if that is the agreement and the arrangement with all facts and everything laid out on the table, everybody can make all their decisions, then I say, hey, if they're adults, you know my philosophy, sound mind and of age, then go for it. So while I don't feel that this is a very super deep romantic relationship, I do feel that if he can get what he needs out of the relationship as well as she gets what she needs out of the relationship, then what the hell? You know what? Come to the States. You know, she can come here, she can do nails, her kids can have, you know, a good life. I'm not saying they cannot have a good life in Colombia. But because of course she can, but in her current situation where she lives with her socioeconomic status, with her education level, so and so and so and so forth, I think I kind of like, maybe like for some of the kind of wrong reasons, I want to see them work out. I just, oh, that hurt my heart. And when you saw the look on his face, like, what? Like, oh my God, like, is this for real? Like, he's probably, with his little humdrum little life, has never experienced anything like what she's had to deal with. And, you know, we'll see how much he loves her. We'll see if that's enough for him to stay, because now he has to think about his own safety. And is this guy going to come out of the woodwork because now I'm with her? And, you know, should he try and get her out of the country sooner than later? I mean, I hope this 90-day process happens for them. I really, really do. I just, this is an unusual situation, but yeah, I'd rather see her living in New York than in Colombia, to be honest. So now Hamza and Memphis are back at the house, and Memphis is about to find out Hamza's true age. And when she finds that out, girlfriend is absolutely livid. She thought she was a little bit older than him. Now she finds out she's 7 years older than him, which I think is kind of messing with her. Maybe not just the number, but just the fact that he has told at least 2 lies since he's gotten there, right? He lied about the fact that he would have to, that they couldn't share a room, and then he lied about his age. So, and the age thing means he lied from the very minute that he met her. So now her red flags are totally going off, and she is confronting him. And she's not letting it go. And quite frankly, I don't blame her for that. And his mom is like, oh, well, she's overreacting. Why is she acting like that? If he just lied about his age, it's not a big deal. But I'm telling you, the mom, her character, I swear to you, if they had not slept together that first night, I bet the mother would be on Memphis's side about Hamza lying about his age. Hamza saying, oh, it just, because I was afraid she would not have wanted to speak to me if she would have known that I was younger. I mean, Hamza's kind of immature. Doesn't he act like a teenager a little bit? I mean, he's not, like acting wild and crazy immature, but he has an immaturity about him. He strikes me as someone who's never left the home, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but he just doesn't know that much about life, and it's starting to show more and more. Like the things that he considers to be little white lies were just so stupid. She still would have talked to him. Come on. You think if he would have been 7 years younger versus 5 years younger, come on. Someone who's willing to get on a plane like that, she still would have accepted him. So that was like really stupid. But then the mom starts telling Hamza like, oh no, this is really, her reaction is not good, like kind of getting in his ear. And that's just because basically she's not feeling it for Memphis anymore. She just basically doesn't like her. So Memphis decides to call his sister into the room because she's thinking like, oh my God, she's in the room, she's crying hysterically. What have I done? I thought this was going to be different. I thought I finally found somebody or whatever. And then she's like, well, okay, I got to see what else he's lying to me about. So then after she calls his sister into the room, and she says to his sister, or she says to him with his sister present, you said you went to school for heating and cool, I guess like HVAC or something like that, right? And he's like, huh? What? Yeah, huh? In the language barrier, right? And then the sister is like, yeah, no, he went to school. That's true. That he did go to college and he did complete. And she was not playing around. Memphis wanted to see the actual diploma, and it was written in Arabic. So I guess there's only so much she could make out, but it looked to be that she could at least tell that there was a 2-year completion. So I guess that, made her feel a little bit better, but she is really panicking now. She's thinking, oh my God, like, what have I got myself into? I've had all these terrible relationships with these guys, and now I just flew, halfway across the world to somebody who was just sitting up here lying in my face. So now Ben decides, you know what? Let me just go ahead and pull my family in on this situation. Let them know about my little boo over in Peru that I plan to pick up at the airport that I've never seen, okay? Listen, this is getting to be too much. His kids were looking like their faces were just like dropping. Like, are you serious? And apparently he has a history, which he didn't mention to us before, is that he also had some other girlfriend and he was like all into her and basically was ditching the kids, So the kids are feeling like, oh my God, is he going to be, basically out there again and then not paying attention to us? See, the thing is, this is like a case study, this situation, all right? Oh, yes. A man meets, woman on the internet, falls in love, doesn't know her. It's the same story. Okay, that's nothing new. But what is the major factor in this is that this man, because of his upbringing, did not have normal interactions, normal dating. And normal, yes, is relative, depends on the culture you grow up and stuff in, but in the we're talking about American culture, right? So in his culture, in his American culture, that, that type of dating style and stuff like that is not something, normal dating, it was not something that he was able to regularly participate in. So he has missed out on a lot of things. And you see a lot of people that come out of these different types of cults and religions where they're suppressed, and it's just, it's just a lot. And you also notice sometimes a little bit of arrested development when speaking to some people, like Ben. He kind of seems like he's a grown man, but he has like a little bit of a kid kind of thing to him a little bit. You can tell like he just kind of lived in that bubble. And you know, he was at a later age when he kind of got away from all. He was in his 40s. So now, a fitness model. I mean, come on, that's like a dream a kid would have, right? Or like a teenager would have. So now he's finally living out his dreams. He needs to basically stop worrying about getting married. He needs to get some more deprogramming done, because he needs to understand that he can have a relationship, and a healthy relationship, with someone age appropriate, living here. I mean, yes, it can be from someone from another country, but first get some practice dating and learning about yourself. You still have a lot of psychological trauma. Typically is associated with these kinds of experiences that people have when they come out of these hyper religious communities where the actions are restricted, where you live is restricted, who you marry is restricted and controlled, and sometimes not even a choice of your own. It's a really it's hard for me to kind of skip ahead to just thinking about mahogany, my Korean fashion catalog model I have in my head, without first really taking a dive and a deep dive into the psychology of what he went through growing up in a cult. I mean, it just, what kind of partner is he gonna make? You know what I mean? Because he says he's out of it, but he clearly is still dealing with issues of that, because he thinks that he has to be married to have a sexual relationship. That's not true, especially when you're freaking 52 years old. Just date. You listen, you had your kids, you got married, you don't have to do that again. You can just date. You can just have a long-term relationship and have a healthy sexual relationship with that person. Be an adult. Go, I want to say go get some counseling, but I don't know if he has, or if he did and he stopped. But I think that's more what has to happen first before you talk about meeting anybody. Forget Peru. Shoot, meeting somebody in the next county. Come on. This is how you mess yourself up, and you mess other people up too. Because remember, hurt people hurt other people. When you have all that damage and stuff you haven't taken care of, it only goes over into the next relationship. I'm hoping Mahogany is a total, like a bot, or some old hairy guy somewhere in some server room. I hope she's not real, because I do not want to see somebody get caught up in that kind of web. You know what I mean? It's just, he needs to work on himself. This is just, oh man, this is bad. This is really terrible. I mean, and I wonder how the kids are affected by that, because the wife kind of seems like she's still into that a little bit, or at least has some of those ideas, even if she's not living in the lifestyle of that cult. Just yeah. And for people that have and what's the difference between a cult and a religion? Kim and Usman are at the video set, and he's in the middle of the video, and he's with the model, and Kim's over there, looking like, right? No, I'm just kidding. And they wrap up, and it's time to go home. So on the way home in the car, Kim starts going off on them, telling them how they did a bad job, how they weren't there for him, and how it's like, basically that, how incompetent, just like, the peons and the peasants. And she's like, this, all of a sudden she has a background in film production and management. I mean, hey, listen, I guess if things don't work out, if he ever needs a talent agent for the West Coast of the United States, I'm sure she's available with her services. Usman was like kind of feeling it a little bit, because he's like, yeah, things were done like X, Y, and Z, and now he's got somebody back in his corner to kind of point out the things that weren't getting done. So then the crew stands up and is like, listen, you're not a part of the crew, you don't work for us, you can't be telling us what to do and stuff like that. And then Usman puts his foot down. He's like, things weren't done the way they were supposed to be get done, and da 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 da. And Kim's over there. She's like, yeah, yeah. Basically, it was like she was just like she wasn't smiling, but she was just loving it in that moment. Like, yeah, I got on him, honey. You see, I got your back. And then what does Usman say in the confessional? She's starting to maybe go up a little bit higher on the higher level for me, the way she stood up for me. I said, I just can't. Listen, when is she going back home? Doesn't her mom need her? I mean, and her son too, who she's so crazy about. I just can't. Kim, Usman he doesn't love you. He's never gonna love you. You have to understand an opportunist when you see one, okay? Some people are just scammers, and it's hard because you obviously love and you love hard, but you can't be giving your heart away to somebody like that. All right, I'm not understanding why you're willing to do the backflips for him. Is he even giving you any sign or of anything? I mean, we see the clips for like next week where she's like, well, I want more and stuff like that. We'll see. We'll see, because, is Kim going to get to her breaking point where being his road manager is not going to be satisfying enough? She's going to want a little taste of Africa, shall we say? We'll have to tune in with those two. It with like the Ben situation is different because like we're dealing with someone who is, kind of trying to unlearn years of brainwashing and things like this. And then we have a couple like this who is another, just like, we just know this is straight scam, okay? Allegedly. But I mean, there is no way you're going to convince me. There's no way. I mean, is it that hard to, I have been single and have known what it's like to try, to find someone and be frustrated and be willing to meet people from other countries. I mean, I'm telling you, I have. But to this point, come on. You're willing to, come on. You can't find somebody local? He's not Michael Jackson. I don't know what this idea of him being built up to has become for her, but I mean, she's all in for him. It's very sad to see. It's so sad. But we'll see what's going to happen with them next week. I don't know. Kim, I don't think you're going to get what you want out of this. I just don't. Usually I say, I do not think you're going to get what you want out of this. I just don't. So we finish out the episode with Gino and Hurricane Jasmine, who has officially landed on the isthmus, okay? She's completely pissed and deciding that this is the best time for her to get back at Gino. So she decides she's going to put the knife in a little bit deeper and let him know that she has been taking her birth control pills after all. Because remember, they plan to conceive on this trip. So now Gino has to pretend like he's so, besotted with, grief, that, at the mere fact that she might not become pregnant. Listen, this guy is not a very good actor, okay? There's no way in hell you're going to convince me that he wants to have a child, considering what he went through over the past, this past couple of weeks with her. No way. This guy does not want to have a child with her. She has threatened him and, all these different things. I mean, she's a loose cannon. So I think next week we'll see more of her shenanigans. Do you guys think they're going to stay together? I don't see this happening. I just don't. He's gullible and he's really in deep for her, but I don't think he's going to, I just have a feeling he's going to wind up getting to a point where he's had enough. Or maybe she will feel like, he's not submissive enough or something like that. It could go the other way too, but I don't see this happening. But either way, we will talk about this again next week, same time, same place. I try to get my videos out the next day after the show has aired. So everybody take care of yourselves, stay safe, and chipisa lacho.